Hey, what's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Looking forward to another week ahead. If you guys could subscribe to the Tobin and Leroy show on YouTube, you guys can watch us on the 560 page. I will put the link there. Please go subscribe. You can watch us every single weekday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And what else can I say about you guys? You're beautiful. So, did the Heat unlock something this past game with Kevin Love coming off of the bench? You know, the Heat got a great performance from both of their backup bigs. You know, now both backup bigs with Bam Adebayo out with a hip injury. The Heat had an offensive explosion. Now, without Bam, the defense fell off a cliff. I mean, let's be real about it. But that being said, you know, Kevin Love did not come here for his defense. They tried to figure some things out with some spacing, provide a little bit of shooting, and a little bit of rebounding. So did they unlock something? That is the big question here, because he had one of his best offensive performances with the club. And by the way, I don't mean to overlook Cody Zeller too, but I think we know, like, I don't feel like Cody Zeller has been a disappointment since he's been here. I think, quite frankly, Cody Zeller has flourished since he's been with the Heat. I think that in that backup role behind Bam, of giving you energy and minutes and rebounds and blocks and you know, some putbacks, you know, you couldn't ask Cody Zeller to have a better start to his Heat tenure than he has given. I think he's been absolutely, outside of getting his nose broken, I think things have gone pretty great for Cody Zeller. So the big mystery has been with Kevin Love. You know, just, you know, the record hasn't been as good. The defense has fallen off a cliff. And I don't necessarily know if it's all been Kevin Love's fault. I don't want to pin it all on him. I mean, he's not out there for all 48 minutes, but there's just something. It's kind of like this, you know, by association thing. I think that you have him out there. His shooting was before this last game just terrible. 14% on wide open threes. You know, it's no wonder why he came out on Instagram and had posted much needed. Which, yeah, I think it was. The idea that Kevin Love was out here and couldn't get himself going in any kind of a rhythm. This coming off the bench thing seemed to have worked. Now, last year, this is where he flourished. You know, we probably didn't notice it down here as much because Tyler Hero was very clearly having the best six-man season out of anybody. It wasn't really a contract. In fact, I remember the only time I got pissed last year, I think it was Hollinger. It probably was. Look, if something annoying happens in basketball watching and somebody's got an opinion that's stupid, that they're trying to make seem smart, it probably came from Hollinger. You know, Rudy Gobert's the MVP or some nonsense like that. So I think it was Hollinger who was like trying to make a case for Kevin Love being sixth man of the year. So he did have a comfort zone in this. We just thought him coming here was going to be like a glove fitting with Bam Adebayo. This was going to work perfectly. They seem to have a good relationship coming in. They seem to have a mutual respect coming in. It seemed to be this perfect blend of guy who's going to space the floor next to Bam. You know, just a couple of things factored. One, Kevin Love couldn't hit any threes. Two, maybe he's a little bit past his prime. So Kevin Love spoke a little bit after the game about him trying to find his way with the Miami Heat.
I think just, you know, getting settled in. I think I've been trying to find myself within this team, within this offense. I think coming off the bench tonight actually worked well. You know, with Jimmy and Cody playing that two-man game, getting everybody involved, the ball moving defensively, you know, us being all over the place. I think it just helped me get into the game, lock in, and then just the ball movement. I think playing with the guys in the second unit, guys coming in, being ready, first unit coming in and out was just a beautiful thing tonight. And like I said, I wanted to focus on those three charges, just giving up my body for the.
Which, to his credit, I mean, look, Kevin Love has given up his body a lot with the Heat. You know, bleeding, got punched in the balls by Desmond Bane, took a bad shot to the head. So Kevin Love has tried. You know, this is one of these things where it's just like, I don't want to say that he's not out there not trying. He's older. He's never been this fleet of foot defender anyway. And it's not like Kevin Love's not putting effort into it. He has definitely sacrificed a lot. It's just, you know, his limitations are his limitations at his age, at his skill set. And the thing that you had to be worried about is just like, all right, well, if he's a defensive liability and he's not making shots and maybe he's taking the ball out of one of your best players' hands with the rebounding, what is he providing? Like, where is the right spot for him? This happened to be the perfect mix. I wonder if it's curious because I wonder if this would have happened, and maybe we'll find out in a couple of days, but I wonder if this would have happened with Bam not going down. Would Spo have shaken it up as much? Because when you lose Bam, and we saw this last year with the team, you got to do some unorthodox things because he's an unorthodox player. You know, Spo always refers to him as unique, so you got to kind of find some new fixes. Now, last year that fix was Omer Yurtseven, was pretty productive with Kyle Lowry, and not only that, PJ Tucker, they really unlocked some stuff with him, so they were able to find those stuff. This time around, Jimmy and Cody Zeller just got off to a really, really good start together, and we'll hope to see if that continues and work through some things together. But it was it certainly was an encouraging thing to get that kind of performance from Kevin Love. Jimmy Butler saying afterwards he doesn't feel like this is going to affect Kevin in any way.
It's not challenging because K-Love is always has been about winning. So as long as we win, he's not going to complain. Nobody's going to complain because whether it's the last, 4 games of the season or the last 24 games of the season, he's always been about winning. And if that helps us win, that's what he's going to do, and he's not going to complain about it.
I tend to agree. I mean, look, Kevin Love talked a big game coming here that he wanted to help get this team to a certain area. Seems very much like they're going to be in the play-in. It's looking more and more like that every day, which is, you know, I think that if you're a Heat fan and you look at them and they're going to be in that 7 spot, hopefully, which is the way it is shaping up with these last 4 games, which means they got to win 1 game at home to get in. Honestly, the bigger thing of it is you really have no time to adjust. You're going to get one of those 2 juggernauts right off the bat, whether it be the Celtics or whether it be the Bucks. And 2 teams are obviously very familiar with, but I think that a Heat team that still very much looks like it's working some things out, you wish you could have a playoff series to kind of work some things out, and you're not really going to have that against either one of those teams. You're going to have to try and get right into it immediately. But for now, for a one game thing, and Kevin Love was talking about this after the game, it felt like things were looking a little bit cleaner.
Just game by game. I mean, it's at this point in the season, you just got to simplify. You got to go with what works. You know, shoot your shot, play super aggressive, and you know, I think tonight was definitely a good start for us. We needed to get back on the right track, and felt like we did that. Got our crowd into it. Now we go on the road, and it's going to be us against the world.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, like Detroit, Washington. I don't know how much that's going to be us against the world, but Philly, if they have something to play for. But look, ultimately, I think in a lot of ways, the Heat have been their own worst enemy. Battling that inconsistency, battling complacency, that has been one of their biggest enemies all season, even more so than other teams. And while, yes, it's going to be a challenge, and you cannot take a Pistons game for granted, a Wizards game for granted, you cannot take that season finale against the Magic for granted. You can't overlook any opponent or any quarter with this Heat team because that's just what they've been. They've been so up and down. It's been a coin flip. You don't quite know who you're going to get. You're just hopeful that Jimmy Butler, when he is playing at the peak of his powers this season, has been one of the best players in basketball. And you feel like that bench unit, look, it's got some pieces that work with it. You have some capabilities there. The biggest concern right now is Bam's health. The thing you got to figure out is once everybody is healthy, once Bam is back, and they have practice today, so, I mean, by the time this uploads, there might be some news on his health, whether he's able to go or whatnot. But looking ahead to this season and the rest of the year of what they have, this last week of games before they head into likely a playoff showdown, if they set themselves up to get into the postseason, what are the big things that they can unlock? Like what are the final pieces that they can kind of get right? And especially just a matter of getting everybody in a productive place. Do they go in a realm where it's like, does Max Strus keep starting for this team? Are they going to start Cody Zeller next to Bam? I'd find that probably unlikely. But it does feel like Cody Zeller is kind of a low maintenance guy. Maybe that does provide a little bit more of that, that rebounding, that good chemistry with Jimmy. I don't know if that works quite the same because he's not really a floor spacer. So I would guess it's probably going to keep another shooter out there, and it would be Gabe, Strus, Tyler, Bam, Jimmy, and then work a second unit that has, Caleb, Kyle, Kevin, Cody. That's the way I would think it's probably going to go. Missing anybody there? Probably. But either way, look, it was an encouraging game. Now, that being said, let's be real about it. That's a Mavericks team that's in a tailspin right now. They're not very good. They've been absolutely a disaster. So you don't want to make any sweeping judgments for one game. First of all, be like the cardinal sin of doing that with this Heat team. Oh, is this going to work? Is this going to be something that works? How could you come to that conclusion with this team, with anything? It would be so silly to do that. But from the standpoint of did it pique your eye a little bit just because Kevin Love had a good performance and Cody Zeller was a monster? Yeah, it'd be impossible for you not to be like, could there be something here? But also, like, the consistency is the key. They just haven't had it all year. So whatever you could grab onto in this last week, I almost feel like Spo's going to hold on to that like grim death going into the playoffs and be like, please, let's hope this works. Let's hope this works. We'll see. Big week ahead.